Hey guys, what's up? It's MatchPoint here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you an ultimate operator guide for Echo in Rainbow Six Siege. So if you do find this video useful, consider dropping a like on the video. And if there are any topics that you would like me to cover next, or if you do even have a specific topic that you are struggling with and would like me to cover it, well, make sure you comment it down below so I know to do them. If you are new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get on into it. Now, just to let you all know, I do stream over on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays doing Rainbow Six Siege viewer games and other games. So make sure to check it out if you would like to see some more. The link is on your screen right now and down below in the description. Echo really is a fantastic operator and has been for a long time. But first of all, we're going to be starting off with Echo's loadout. Echo is a 3 armor and 1 speed operator. For his primaries, he does have the option of the MP5 SD, which is a submachine gun, and also the Supernova, which is a shotgun. The submachine gun really is a fantastic primary. It can hold lots of long angles and it does have a very high fire rate, making it great for that suppressive fire. The submachine gun arguably is going to fit Echo a lot better than that shotgun, and I would recommend you to use the submachine gun, as like I mentioned, you can hold lots of long angles and he does have that ACOG, which not many defenders do nowadays. In my opinion, his loadout is arguably one of the strongest. Now, the Supernova shotgun does offer an alternative playstyle with Echo, but it isn't going to be one that suits him very well. With his submachine gun having access to that ACOG, it makes him great for anchoring and holding down those long angles, whereas the shotgun simply can't do this. You're not going to be playing aggressive with Echo, and then realistically you're going to be using your ability and then switching to that submachine gun to fire off some shots at the long angle. Now, moving on to Echo's secondaries, he does offer your standard handgun and the Bearing 9, which is a machine pistol. I would definitely recommend you to take that Bearing 9 as it is a fantastic secondary and it really is an asset to have. It's got a very high fire rate and it is more capable of dealing that damage than your regular handgun. For a secondary, it really does offer a lot, and while the recoil may be quite high, I would definitely suggest you in learning this if you are struggling with it, as it is an asset to have. Now, the best way to do this is arguably going to be learning that recoil pattern. Quickly hop into a custom game, test the recoil pattern out, and when you have, I'd recommend practicing in the training grounds and taking Cabana, as she also offers that Bearing 9, and then you can practice against 22 enemies with the Bearing 9. This way you will be able to learn the recoil and eventually master it, and then you can go ahead and take that Bearing 9 comfortably and deal a lot of damage with it. Now, for Echo's gadgets, he does offer the deployable shield and the barbed wire. I would recommend you to take the deployable shield, and personally I would, because you can use it as cover and set up your position or area where you're going to be holding down, and then that deployable shield can act as some cover whilst you are on your Yokai. Not only does it protect you, but you can also use it for some aggressive quick peeks. The main reason for having that deployable shield is to simply act as some cover when you are on your Yokai, as you're going to be on it and not being able to watch your surroundings as often as you would like to. It can be considered your personal preference, as that barbed wire can offer to delay the enemy, but also it will depend on the map, as you might not need that deployable shield for the area and you're going to be sitting in. However, personally I would recommend the deployable shield. Now, the next section of Echo that I'm going to be moving on to is going to be Echo's desired role. For Echo's role, I would mark him as an anchor. Echo overall can deny the enemy's pushes, and it can also go ahead and actually hold those long angles down like an anchor would with that submachine gun. You would catch Echo sitting on that site and not really hanging around anywhere else. However, as an Echo player, this does not mean you sit on your Echo during the whole game. We will dive deeper into this when we move on to his ability very shortly, but it means you should be checking your surroundings very often in case you are being snuck up on. In addition to this, you might have also been droned out, so you've got to be very careful and checking frequently when you've been droned out. Now, you can play slightly more aggressive as Echo if you would like to, and what I mean by this is positioning your Yokai so that it is around your area, and in doing so you can then use your shockwave on the enemy and quickly switch to your submachine gun and then get some shots in. Remember, as an Echo player you should realistically be supporting that team, however you can venture into the more aggressive realm as you can quickly shockwave the enemy and switch. This does offer a slightly alternative playstyle for Echo. Now, I am going to be very quickly moving on to Echo's ability. Echo's ability allows him to disorientate attackers and therefore use his shockwaves, which he has 2 of, and they will recharge over time, and he can use this all through his yokai. Echo does have an unlimited amount of shockwaves, however he only has 2 at one time and they do take a while to recharge. Not only this, but his yokai can act as a mobile camera as well, as it can also scan the enemy. Echo's ability does offer you and your team so much intel, it's actually quite special. And not only this, but his yokais can be really quite hard to spot as well, as they do blend in. Now in regards to disorientating the enemy, I would only recommend doing it when they are close enough to the bomb site, as also Echo can actually deny that plant. When the attacker is planting the defuser, Echo can simply shockwave the enemy and disorientate them, and therefore it takes them off that plant and they have to reset. I would recommend only disorientating the enemy when they are towards the end of that defuser getting planted, as you're going to be able to waste as much time as you can. If you're going to disorientate them at the start, well, they're going to not waste that much time, as they will be able to quickly get it back down again. Remember, with Echo, you're there trying to delay their time as much as possible. As like I've mentioned in many other videos, if you're delaying their time, then therefore you're going to be causing them to panic, as their plan isn't going to be able to work if they don't have enough time, and causing them to play into your hands. Now to me, when I was playing with Echo, it really was quite shocking how many games we were winning simply because Echo was able to delay and deny. Echo was able to simply stop the attackers from pushing in because they didn't want to, because they simply knew my presence of the yokai was there. If you do decide to bring Echo with you and you can use him effectively, you will be seeing an increase in the amount of games you are winning. I would recommend being careful when you're disorientating the enemy. You don't want to be using it too often in places where it's not going to be as valuable. You should be doing it when they're just crossing that line and heading into sight. And also, if you find yourself running out of them too quickly, then you are using them a bit too much. Try and slow down, as you might need them for when they're trying to plant that defuser and you can deny it. Another thing with Echo is that communication is going to be absolutely key. If you have fluid communication between you and your teammates, then you're going to be looking great with Echo. You can let your team know that you've got a yokai set up near them, and therefore they're going to feel a bit more secure. But not only this, you can let your team know that you've disorientated the enemy, and therefore they can push in and secure that kill. It can be great for assisting kills, and I found myself doing this a lot. As well, communication also means that you're not going to be having to ping the enemy every single time. You can just let your team know with that precise call out. If you are struggling with your communication, then I have covered a full guide on it, and if you do require that information, there will be a card in the top right. I would also recommend you, when using the Echo's ability, is not just to keep your yokai stationary the whole time. Maybe move one of them around to go and scout and gather more intel for you and your team. This way you can actually gather some info on where that enemy team is going to be making their push from, and then you can actually move your other yokai around to go and set it up in position. Another tip is that when you're placing down your yokais, I wouldn't recommend them placing too close to common entry points. Now in order to play Echo well, you should have some map knowledge, therefore you can set up your yokais in the common push points. For example, a very common push point on bank is going to be when the attackers make their push through CCTV. Therefore, you must set up one yokai around this area in order to deny that possible plant and slow the attackers down. But also, your second yokai should be positioned on another common push point, as there are going to be multiple. But one big factor that I did find is that Ash and many other operators that do fire those projectiles that will explode do commonly take out your yokais, and whether they are doing this on purpose or not, but the main thing is here is that you should be placing your yokais a little further away from that push point, as obviously the push points will be nearest to doors and windows. Therefore, just position your yokai around it or move it slightly back. This way, when the explosion does go off, you're not going to be affected by it. But also, you don't actually have to put it in the most common positions, you can switch it up in order to trick the enemy. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you did, or you found this video useful, then make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more tips and tricks like this. Now remember, if you would like to check out some more tips and tricks, or make sure to watch my recent video. And if you would like to see me live on Twitch on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, the link will be down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.